my name is Jeanette, and I was a volunteer with United Through Sport in Port Elizabeth, South Africa 2 years ago. And I had heard about United Through Sport and decided to apply to the program after receiving a grant from my university to study international development in a different country. And being from the US, I decided I wanted to go to South Africa just because it has an incredibly diverse and rich history. And so I was looking for a project that would take me there, and United Through Sport was one of the first things I kind of stumbled upon. I didn't really know what the organization was doing, but I decided to just try it out, which was a huge opportunity for me and actually really taught me a lot. So getting to South Africa was a really big challenge. Thankfully, I did have this grant from my university to help cover my travel expenses, but I had no idea what to expect. I think I was kind of picturing very rural villages that we'd be working in, kind of far away from the accommodations that we'd had. But I was actually very surprised because South Africa is one of the most developed countries in Africa, and so a lot of the places that we were working were right next to the places that we were living, not very far at all. And it kind of reminded me of some of the socioeconomic disparities that we have here in the US, and how, you know, people that are different than us and struggling are not that far away or that far removed. So that was one of the things that immediately struck me. So kind of delving into that culture was a huge part of my experience. So day to day, I spent half of my time teaching English and math in the schools, and then the other half coaching soccer, which I'm not very good at, and I think the kids could tell. There's something that I enjoyed doing. So our days, we normally would go to like a few different schools if we were coaching, and then spend the day in one particular school if we were teaching. But still got to see a lot of different kids. It was one of those things where I really had to redefine success because we were working with so many students. I wanted to really just take the time to help every single one with like anything that was going on in their lives. That's kind of impossible. So I just basically had to accept the fact that, you know, even if I was just running a dribbling drill in soccer or helping someone to learn how to read, you know, that individual experience with them kind of meant the world to them. And obviously, I was one volunteer, but I think United Through Sport as a whole is, you know, kind of able to create some of that more lasting change because they are an in-country organization, not only in South Africa, but in other places around the world. So one of the things that I really appreciated is not only do they do these mass outreach programs through coaching and teaching, but they also have the Junior and Senior School of Excellence, which are kind of after-school programs for kids who really do have that athletic or scholastic talent, and provide scholarships for them and opportunities for them to, you know, kind of develop the skills they wouldn't normally have access to before. And I actually got the chance to talk with a girl who was one of the first graduates of that senior level program that was actually in her second year of college. And it was huge to think that, you know, through an organization like United Through Sport, she was able to have opportunities that she had only dreamed of. And so that was huge. And knowing that I was a small part of that was really cool. I think another unique thing about my experience is the fact that not only was I in a different country with so many different cultures, I was also volunteering with people from all over the world. So I was actually only one of two Americans who was there during my trip. A lot of people were from a bunch of different places, and so getting to explore a country, that I didn't know, with people from other countries that I'd never been to, was kind of this like multi-layered experience in getting to like see the world from a lot of different perspectives, which was awesome. I think takeaways from the project, like I said, it definitely made me more aware of opportunities to get involved here in America, realizing that people need hope and healing and educational support in the neighborhood right next to you, or even in your own neighborhood. It doesn't really take you going to a different country to do that, but I think it took me going to South Africa to realize that. And so I was really grateful for that perspective. It also really gave me the courage to pursue a career in international development. So I'm currently living and working with a nonprofit that does international development in DC, and I don't think that I would have had that desire to do so if I hadn't spent the time that I did volunteering with United Through Sport. And so I would definitely encourage anyone who has, you know, interest in education or international development, especially sports, but even if you're not good at sports, you learn to love it and to really see it as a valuable asset in these kids' lives. So I definitely encourage people to go. It's definitely, like I said, a unique experience. We're getting to kind of make lasting change with an organization that's in country, that's doing those things, but you get to have your own little piece in it, and I think that's really special.